working people. Chernobyl is yours and your family's future. Come and let us build a new, better tomorrow. Every pair of hands is needed. Atomic energy is our future.
We experienced a great misfortune, an accident in the nuclear power plant. The reactor number 4 exploded. The firefighting action continues. A zone within 30-kilometer radius is contaminated. Pripyat. It is here where the families and employees of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant had lived until the day of the catastrophe. Immediately after the explosion, about 50,000 citizens were irrevocably evicted. Look around and pick a place you would like to get to know better. Flat.
Pripyat was the most modern city in the former Soviet Union. The city was founded as the settlement for the workers of the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The building started on the 4th of February 1970, and the evacuation took place on the 27th of April 1986, one day after the catastrophe in the nuclear power plant.
You are now in a typical flat of the nuclear power plant worker. On just a few dozen square meters, a family and social life was taking place. At that time, the flat was very comfortable. It indicated a high social status and was considered to be a luxury. Look around and find the interactive objects to learn more about the evacuation.
Внимание, внимание! Внимание, внимание! Внимание!
Attention, attention. Dear comrades, the City Council of People's Deputies reports on the unfavorable radiation situation in the town of Pripyat in connection with the accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The party, government. Most of the flats in Pripyat are empty. Single seats, sofas, and other furnishings were preserved only in few of them. When it became obvious that Pripyat would be a ghost town forever, Several actions were organized. All the things that the residents left were thrown through the windows and then buried in the areas designated earlier for the further expansion of the city. The purpose was to discourage people from returning home. If you want, you can go to the roof to see the panoramic view of the city. View from the roof. The evacuation of Pripyat still remains controversial. It is believed that the permanent displacement of the population was unnecessary, and the radiation level in the city is lower than the background radiation in some inhabited parts of Europe and the world. Flat. Minsk. For me as a person who is making this film, it is very important to know. In your Chernobyl prayer, you write much about time, the importance of time, about what is going to come, and about what has already happened. Please tell me, what is exactly a catastrophe of time to you?
Делает этот фильм очень важно. Вы в своей чернобыльской молитве очень много пишете о времени и о важности времени, о том, что будет и о том, что было. Скажите, чем именно для вас есть катастрофа времени?
Ну, катастрофа времени в том, что вот, например, чернобыльские тучи
A catastrophe of time is that,
через 4 дня,
for example, hospital. The city hospital in Pripyat was one of the most modern facilities in the area. The complex could fit up to 410 patients, and it consisted of 5 buildings with multiple wards and 3 medical clinics. Operating room. Shortly after the explosion, 31 firefighters and plant workers involved in the extinguishing of the reactor were taken to the hospital. Patient room. Despite the modern equipment, doctors were unable to help the injured firefighters. Very high doses of the radiation caused acute radiation sickness. One of the firefighters died shortly after arrival, and the rest were transported to the hospital in Moscow, back where all of them died within 4 months. Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The control room of the RBMK-1000 reactor. It is here where the experiment of an emergency shutdown of the reactor number 4 was carried out. Find the interactive elements to find out what happened on the tragic night of the 26th of April 1986. We are now at the site which is called a sarcophagus observation deck, or the new safe confinement. This is probably the most popular place for everyone who comes to the area of the Chernobyl power plant. And behind me you can see the sarcophagus, which was constructed in a very short time, in just 6 months. The monument, which is located here, was erected in 2006, and it was placed there to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the launching of the construction of the old sarcophagus. It was designed for the operational term of only 30 years. But you can see that there is already the new safe confinement, ready in 80%, which is going to be installed in a year or even sooner. And it will cover the old sarcophagus, which was built in 1986 by the construction management of the US 605 and the personnel of the Chernobyl power plant. The old sarcophagus, which is a concrete bunker, was to secure nearly 300 tons of various kinds of radioactive substances, including thorium, dust, uranium and plutonium. The concrete construction was supposed to prevent the radioactive particles from escaping into the air or groundwater. Due to the lack of time and the technical limitations during the construction process, the sarcophagus becomes unstable and fails to fulfill its task. For Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The main reason for the explosion of the reactor number 4 was its unsuccessful safety drill. Poor decisions and faulty construction caused the reactor's power level to plummet to 30 megawatts. To correct this mistake, the control rods were removed. They were able to increase the power to the intended 200. Welcome to the Museum of Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant. One of the power plant's nuclear power plant, Anatoly Kolyedin, will tell you what the morning after the explosion of the reactor number 4 looked like. Amusement park.
Prepare for landing at the amusement park. Shortly after the catastrophe, this place was an airstrip for helicopters participating in removing the effects of the reactor's explosion.
The amusement park in Pripyat was never open for the public. It was built in 1985, but in the Soviet Union nothing could be opened just like that. So the official guide. On the 1st of May 1986, the town was supposed to host a significant event. The town first amusement park was going to be opened. I believe that for such a small town, which already had a solid infrastructure, the opening of the park was very important, also because there were so many children in the town. There are rumors that the amusement park was opened shortly after the explosion to distract people from the disaster. But no one can confirm this information, and the preserved archival materials indicate that only a trial test was run Ferris wheel scheduled opening. Ferris wheel. A Ferris wheel was supposed to be the biggest attraction of the amusement park. 20 gondolas were to carry up to 80 people. They could have admired the panoramic view of the city at 20 meters.